That'll be coming up live a little later on, and we'll Joe be facing Food Heaven. That's seared steak topped with brioche and parsley crumb, or Food Hell, gooseberry chutney with mackerel fish cake. And you can see what he's going to eat at the end of the show. Right, cooking next is a man at the helm of the Michelin-starred restaurant Social Eating House, and a busy place it is as well. It's the brilliant Paul Hood. Great to have you on the show, Paul.
Hi
Your
there.
first time on the show, so tell us what you're cooking first.
Right, we're going to cook fillet of cod, cauliflower puree, asparagus, polonaise garnish.
Polonaise. We're going to get onto the garnish in a minute, because I know you want to get the cod on cooking as well.
Absolutely.
Really. So fire away. What are we going to do with it?
Right, oil into a pan. Oil into 2 pans as well.
So we're just going to simply pan fry it then, really. That's the key.
Yep.
Yep.
So we've taken the skin off it, a little bit of the season, and we're going to cook it the side that the skin was on. So skin side down in the pan.
Now, people in London will have heard of your place, particularly you and Jason's place.
Yes.
Holland Street Social came first.
It did, 3 years ago now, 3 years old.
Well, that's relatively young, but in between time, I mean, the amount of places that Jason's opened, but your place in particular, this was like a sister restaurant, really? What do you call it, like that?
Yeah, it's just a restaurant. I've been working with Jason now for 8 years. We started talking about this 3 years ago, just after Holland Street opened.
Right.
And since then, it's sort of gone from strength to strength.
Was that because, you know, really that place sort of opened at the right place, the right time, the right concept, and then suddenly took off, was it?
Yeah, the concept, the way it's, the way everything's set up, it's, you know, the concept of sort of fine dining in a simple environment, really. You know, good fun.
I mean, it is quite an unusual mix, that, because when you look at fine dining, you look at sort of a quietish room, but not that quiet, but yours is, I mean, it's just packed out.
It's buzzing, yeah. There's a lot of people in the room at one time, you know. We can sit sort of 70, 80 covers at once.
But almost, you know, the drink. I know you're into your cocktails as well, but particularly at this place, I mean, but it's not just the drink menu as well. It's what it's served in. I mean, you pay so much attention to everything. Really.
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys working. As a barman, Gareth, the Blind Pig Bar on the top floor. A lot of detail goes into that. Yeah. So what we've got here, cauliflower puree is cooking, cod skin side down. We'll start working on our garnish.
So where do you get your inspiration from then, really? Is it the same as Jason when he's travelling around?
Yeah, a lot of travelling, a lot of reading other menus, and obviously not copying, but reading other menus, and just sort of reading books and everywhere, really. Even just walking down the shops, you can see something you haven't seen for a while. Just gets a bit of inspiration going to you. And
your team as well, because this is a little bit of inspiration from them as well, really.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got a whole senior team for the company that put a lot of effort into everything we do. Obviously, Jason's restaurant is final say at the end of it, so you know, we work very closely with each other, and we have done for years.
Right, I'm going to cook this asparagus. You're going to cook this in water and butter?
Yeah, a little bit of water, a little bit of butter, and a little bit of salt in there, please.
Yeah, a little bit of that. That's going in there. Asparagus is prepped. So the cauliflower puree, just to recap, you just basically boil that up with cream?
Yeah, boil it up with cream. A little bit of butter, a little bit of milk in there, please, as well.
And then we end up basically with this puree that we've got here, which will basically warm up.
Once it's cooked, it takes about 9–10 minutes to cook. Put it into a blender, blend it till it's really silky smooth, nice and soft.
Yeah.
And then we season it, and then just taste it, make sure it's ready for serving.
Okay. And then the breadcrumbs, you want me to do these, but these are in a bit of duck fat.
Yeah, we're going to cook them in a little bit of duck fat. It's a little bit different doing them than butter.
Yeah.
A little oil, it's much deeper flavour. And what we're doing here is we're grating some hard-boiled eggs that we're separating. So we do it separate.
Now this is the classic garnish, so tell us about that then.
It's a polonaise garnish, so it's a French garnish that originated in Poland, really. Talking to one of my guys, one of my Polish chefs at work, he mentioned it and brought it up. So we sort of elaborated on it, did a bit of research on it, and sort of twisted it into a restaurant dish.
And it's nice also with polonaise, because it's such a classical garnish, to bring it in such a light way as well, because I've done polonaise with broccoli before and cauliflower, and it's really nice to do it with fish. I think it's a fantastic garnish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's classically served in Poland with cauliflower and asparagus. So we sort of put a restaurant twist on it. So we have cornichons, shallots, our eggs, a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper, and then we're going to get some herbs in there as well, chives and some parsley.
Because you're in a real sort of a mix of restaurants where you are in central London. If anybody knows this area, it's kind of, well, the Soho area, but it's really, I mean, that busy area, particularly for bars, but restaurants now are really sort of...
They are, they're booming, really. Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants around us, you know, but we come in a year ago, I think we've annoyed a lot of people with what we've done. Taken Soho by storm, we think anyway.
Really? I I would have thought you. I mean, it's different to everywhere else, though, isn't it? Really? I mean,
It is. It is. The buzz of the place, because of the bar upstairs, we have the chef table down in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The main restaurant floor, so we're all on 3 floors. The kitchen's open, so people can come down and watch us cook and get involved. The guys in the kitchen come and serve you.
But when you go there, there's tremendous thought that's gone into not just the menu itself, but the design, everything from what it's served on.
It's
everything.
a very New York style to it, very bistro feel to it. So it's the buzz that it's created.
Right, well, they're the little crumbs, which I'll turn these off now.
Great.
You've got that's your little cauliflower puree. So what have you added that to the last minute?
So we've got here lemon zest, the chopped parsley, chopped chives, nice and fresh.
Season that up. Bit of salt.
A little bit of lemon juice in there.
Well, that's ready. The crumb's ready. I'll just take the fish out as well.
Yep.
Which has gone in there. Now, of course, all of today's recipes, including this one from Paula on our website, go to bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Right, I'm just going to heat that up so I can get my capers in.
Yep. Asparagus is ready.
Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to just... There. So, put the butter in the pan. Got my capers going in here. And lift the asparagus out. There you go. So you're cooking this in just butter?
Just butter, a little bit of salt. And a little bit of butter. To fry those till nice and crispy.
It's going to be about another 30 seconds for that one. So.
You can get ready to start garnishing up.
Okay. So you said you get your inspiration from your travelling, but how long does it take to implement a new menu on? Because
new menu on, we'll just change
so
it
many
bit by
different
bit.
restaurants that you've got.
We'll just change it bit by bit. You know, we never do a whole menu change. It puts so much stress on the kitchen and the front of the house. You know, they've got a lot to learn, and the guests suffer at the end of the day. So thank you very much.
There you go.
So what we did was change the dish bit by bit. Work on a dish. We'll never go straight on the menu. We'll work on it as a senior team. We'll sit down and talk about it, and probably cook it 3 or 4 times before it actually goes onto the menu.
Yeah.
Okay, so cauliflower puree onto your plate. Just flatten it out a little bit.
Cool little move there, Paul. See that little tap there?
I'll do it a million times a day.
I'm going to steal that little move.
You're going to steal in that one?
Yeah,
That's the little Michelin star touch, is it, Chef?
I like that, Paul.
Smack the bottom of the plate.
There you got asparagus ready.
Great. I'll take that cod off you.
Lift that out. Yeah. With the butter on it as well.
So just before we put that onto the plate, we've got a little bit of Dijon mustard and a brush. Gives a good kick to the dish.
Yeah. Let's give you another spoon.
Goes onto the plate. Thank you. So yeah, this is on the menu at the moment. We're probably one of the biggest selling cod dishes that we've ever had on.
It will be after this and all.
So, that's it. Nice fresh garnish over the top.
So that's got the chopped eggs.
Chopped
No
eggs.
capers in there because we fried off the capers separately.
Fried off the capers separately.
The gherkins in there.
Cornichons in there and capers over the top. And finished with the breadcrumbs.
There you go.
Just roasting a little bit of duck fat.
It looks pretty nice, that, doesn't it?
Looks delicious.
Finish with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
Looks very nice.
And then we have roasted cod, polonaise garnish, asparagus and cauliflower.
In 8 minutes, done. Easy as that. It's the way you stood back and went, top job, well done. Fantastic here. Have a seat over here, Paul. Dive in. You get to dive into this one. Tell us what you think of that.
Amazing food.
I mean, the cauliflower puree, and you need a really sort of strong blender to just keep blitzing it.
Yeah, you want it really silky, really smooth.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Happy with that?
Really good.
There you go. Right, we need some wine to go with this, so let's head back to the Chelsea Flower Show to find out what Ollie Smith has chosen to go with Paul's perfect fish.
With Paul's creamy cod, you might be tempted to hook a bottle of seaside splendour from Sicily, such as this glorious Grillo. Lovely stuff. However, with the asparagus in the dish, it can be a tricky flavour to pair with wine thanks to its uniquely intense herbaceous character. But it adores the gentle fragrance and golden glory of Rabel Grüne Veltliner 2012. Tricky to say, simple to sip. Grüne Veltliner is Austria's signature white grape variety, and you can find them quite luscious and rich, or more like this one, as easy and breezy as an alpine meadow. This particular example comes from classy Camptal, and it's made by one of the region's leading producers, Rabel. Fantastic to see them making a wine that's pretty good value for money, and also that you can find pretty much everywhere. All for wine and wine for all. If you think about the tangy polonaise garnish in the dish, with the cornichon, the capers, and of course the mustard, those are intense flavours, and you need a wine like this one to match the tang, bursting with freshness. But then of course there's the creamy cauliflower. For that, also you need a wine with a bit of richness to match up to the texture and balance. And this one has the perfect level of concentration. And finally, the asparagus in the dish. It can be a tricky flavour to pair with wine. Asparagus is in season at the moment. If you're enjoying it at home, just remember, its very best friend is a glass like this one. Groovy Grüne Veltliner. Paul, here's to your classy cod. Cheers!
Cheers indeed. Well, mixed reactions over here. I'm a big fan of the grape, but not this one. To me, it doesn't really work with that. I know asparagus is quite difficult to match with, but yeah, a little bit too dry for me.
It's very dry. It's probably a little bit drier than I'd ever go for, yeah.
Yeah. So 2-0 over here.
I do like dry wine. It's quite full-bodied.
2-1.
For me, I think it's nice when you catch a bit of mustard. That really ticks it off for me. And I think the more you eat as you drink it, I think it starts to work. So I'm on the fence there.
That's not what you said 2 minutes ago. Can't repeat what you said 2 minutes ago either. Now let's see what happened when the remaining two Celebrity Bar chefs served their food to the former finalists. Next up is speech. Take a look at this.